Your family, call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Combo effort here at high noon. Rick Ballou along with Ryan Green, typically with you 6 to 8 as well as 8 o'clock thereafter. And, I was kind of joking earlier in the week. I was thinking this was somewhat of a super group, kind of like Asia or the damn Yankees or, maybe Blind Faith. But as you know, on our text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, you can complain, 641-1010. And obviously they don't like us because we're starting our show today at 12:07. So the word is out. Just try to get these guys in and get them out. Start them 7 minutes late. Knock them off today at 2 o'clock. We've done 2 shows, and the reviews are obviously thumbs down.
I will take the Fifth Amendment on that and let you speak on that one for us.
12:07. Anyway, that means we have a break coming up in 4 minutes? Is that what's up? All right. It's a great day, though. Can you imagine being in Boston today and having that be your bowl in Chestnut Hill and get that short trip to play a game in the pouring rain, 2 degrees above freezing at Fenway Park?
Yeah, there's no doubt. If I'm SMU and Boston College, you live for days like this to qualify for a bowl game, to enjoy all the fruits of your labor from a long season, and you get to play in front of 5,000 people at Fenway Park in a monsoon in 34-degree temperatures. This is what bowl season is really all about.
Of course, around here, things will change coming up on Sunday. They're going to meet for the 8th time. Carolina, an advantage in this series, Lifetime. 4-3, although the Jags up 2-1 at home. The last time they met, October of 2019, the Jaguars on the other side of a 34-27 loss. They are a 6.5-point favorite, a very low total in this game, 37.5 points. And good news today for the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence will play. He'll be limited. He'll work in only individual drills. The big question will be how much throwing will he actually do?
We were talking before the show, and the Trevor Lawrence injury obviously is big, and Christian Kirk still being on IR, although for whatever that's worth, I believe Monday the Jaguars could hypothetically open his 21-day window. This will be the 4th game that Kirk has missed coming up on Sunday against Carolina. And those are obviously 2 of probably your top 5 players on the roster, so they're very, very important guys to have injured right now. But aside from that, you're going into New Year's Eve, into Week 17, Game 16, and you look at the Jaguars, who have been decimated by injuries the entire year. The Jaguar defense is essentially intact. Those are your guys that are going to be out there on Sunday. There's not any injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, if I were to tell you that your starting offensive line is going to be Cam Robinson, either Ezra Cleveland or Walker Little, and then Fortner, Sheriff, and Harrison on New Year's Eve, you would have absolutely taken that a month ago. Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne, Calvin Ridley, all healthy. All things considering, Rick, as bad a season as it has been for injuries, the Jaguars are getting somewhat healthy here towards the end of the year.
Yeah, and it's a battle of attrition. This applies to each and every team. Just look at all the quarterback changes that are going on this weekend. Some of those are non-injury related, but this has been a very intriguing year. I don't think there's a dominant team. I think a switch can be flipped, and you can go on a run here. Who's to say Jacksonville doesn't win Sunday, win next week, win a home playoff game here during Wild Card weekend, then probably off on the road with an opportunity, who knows, to win during the divisional round of the playoffs. When you look at team total numbers, is there one that sticks out for you that you look at head and shoulders above anything else? Team numbers now, not individual numbers, team numbers.
Oh, I think the lack of rushing. I think not getting anything done on the ground.
I'm just talking about in general, a number, not a team, but just a number. Total offense, scoring offense, time of possession, turnover takeaway ratio. Is there any? For me, it's always been scoring offense and scoring defense. Isn't that what you play for? Your points that you score, the points that you allow. For some reason, and again, it's another one of those deals like coaches they don't play backups, they don't play backup quarterbacks. Coaches think differently than we do, and that also applies to the league. Why they ram team offense and team defense down our throat, to me, is a totally misleading statistic. For instance, look at Carolina. They're 2-13. I'm reading several different articles to get ready for this game, and I keep hearing Carolina has the 5th total defense in the NFL, even though they're 2-13. 5th total defense. They allow 296 yards a game. They have the 30th scoring defense.
Right.
Look at that difference. 5th in total yards, but 30th in scoring. I mean, their scoring defense right now, they give up 25.4 points a game. You talk about cooking a book or cooking books and trying to find a way that you can force the way that something is supposed to look. This is amazing to me. And why do so many continuously go with total offense and total defense and not the most important numbers, scoring offense and scoring defense?
And some of that is, well, Carolina turns the ball over, puts their defense in a bad spot. Their defense can't stop the opposing team from getting in the end zone. Thus, your scoring defense is hurt where your total defense would not be. It's kind of similar for Jacksonville. When you think back to the first 9 games of this year, back when the Jaguars were 5-2 or 6-3 or 7-3, remember the good old days about a month and a half ago, the Jaguars led the league in takeaways. They were one of the best in turnover differential, and that has been obliterated and shattered and crushed over the last 3 games. I mean, when you turn the ball over, what do they have? 12 turnovers in this 4-game losing streak? They had 4 last week. They had, 3 against Cleveland. They are turning the ball over at an unbelievable rate over these last 4 games. That turnover differential has been destroyed here in the last month, which is why the Jaguars find themselves in a 4-game skid.
Jaguars legend Dave Weidel among those unhappy with the fact that we're on at noon. Oh, my God, Ballou on at noon. What will we do? On a text that Dave just sent me. I'm trying to get Dave on here to rip this offensive line. And I've spoken and text with him off there. He won't do it. He's too good of a guy. Dave Weidel's too good of a guy. He's not going to come on here and have anything negative to say. That's that small fraternity. I mean, when you're in, you're in, you're in. Plus, I'm shocked that Weidel's not keyed into this matchup right now. BC SMU, an ACC school against a future ACC school. You would think that the great Dave Weidel, who, of course, starred there, would be totally enthralled.
Yeah, Boston College and SMU will be conference rivals. I'll tell you, one of the most enjoyable experiences I've had talking football in a long time. It was a couple of years ago now. There was some brown water involved at a cigar bar. Leon Searcy and myself. Leon's going to join us at 1 o'clock today. We were sitting down. Leon was holding court, and in walks Dave Weidel. And so you got 2 Jaguar offensive linemen from the good old days with cigars and brown water. And, Rick, I can tell you the stories that were told in that cigar bar for about 90 minutes were absolutely spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
I was privileged to be sitting there listening to what they were saying.
All right, 2 really good guys. When we come back, we're going to switch things up a little bit. I've had this buried now for over a week and a half. I actually sent you the email when we're on together or on one after another at night.
Jaguar fans are not going to like it.
Yeah, and this really boiled my blood. And I think I think today's the perfect day for it. It's kind of chilly out. When I got in here about an hour and a half ago, there was no sun. So I think that this story is best set for today. I think a lot of us would avoid it. I'll never do that to you. But again, it's another example of how we are received. And I say we are, meaning it doesn't matter where you're from. I think it matters where you die. Right? And I'm going to fall into the wooden box right here in Jacksonville, whether it's, I go with a couple of double cheeseburgers today after the show and I die this afternoon, or I live another 30-plus years. I do not know. But Duval is officially my home. And this really upset me. And I know it upset you. I can't wait to hear what our listeners have to say.
And there's a lazy narrative nationally surrounding Jaguar fans, from the media, from just football fans in general, people that don't know what they're talking about, that don't do research, that don't do anything, just a lazy narrative when they stereotype Jaguar fans, and it happens all the time. And this list you're referring to, it happened yet again, and I got a feeling when people hear about this, it is going to fire them up.
I'm not good at radio teases. Sometimes I get distracted. Sometimes I get swayed away. And it's something that I'm going to work on to be better at in 2024. But I'm going to make a promise right now. And this isn't a political promise. This is a truth teller promise. We're going to start with this in 5 minutes. We're going to come back and we're going to hammer it. Anything outside of, I won't even say it. I don't even want to jinx it, okay, would not allow us to get to this story. It's coming up in less than 5 minutes. All right, opening comments brought to you by Shmunez Vision. I've known Dr. Neil Shmunez forever. And, let's go back to 8.5 years ago when I went in just for a normal eye exam to see if I needed an update as far as my prescription with my contacts. Went in there, and lo and behold, what happened? He found something that needed to be removed immediately in my right eye. This is a family organization, high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Think of a car wash. Think of a mechanic. Too many of these companies, they're all the same. They just get you in, get you out. Cash checks, right? There's not enough sensitivity. There's not enough of a relationship that you do have with your doctor. This is something I've always had with Shmunez Vision. And you know what? I trust them 100%. Every time I go back, never an issue, never a setback. Feel real comfortable about anything that could happen. After COVID, experiencing a lot of headaches, okay? I got the jab. That made me go sideways, okay? I was trying to figure out what in the heck is happening. My eyes was a big part of it. Dr. Shmunez took care of that as well, whether it's cataract issues, blurry vision. You're talking about Dr. Catherine Shmunez. Combined, you have more than 30 years' worth of laser eye surgery experience. No matter what it is, they're your one-stop. Check them out online. Go to shmunezvision.com, shmunezvision.com. Care you can see. The good folks at Shmunez. RJ Saunders producing the program. He is Hacker Nation. I am Rick Ballou. On the other side, they have spoken again, and damn it, are they ever wrong? Details 5 minutes away.
It's not a military mission, but Hayes Carline straps on his boots and takes you behind enemy lines.
That mission was classified.
Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors.
What kind of outfit is this anyway? It's not regular Army.
On 1010XL.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
Whether you are looking for a job or an employer trying to hire, there's only one stop in Jacksonville, Remedy Staffing. Labor trends keep us guessing. As employers, the job market has been strong. So what does that mean for workers' availability? If you're interested in the workforce solutions or how the Remedy team can help you, call or text Crystal at 904-329-9802. 329-9802, Remedy Staffing.
Our biggest sales event of the year is going on now. Happy Honda Days. Savings, value, quality, safety, special financing. This is truly our biggest sales event of the year. Visit your local Honda dealer now for the deal you've been waiting for all year. Don't miss it.
Tailgaters Parking is gearing up for the most exciting season yet. The best game day parking available is at Tailgaters, where customers get access 4 hours prior to kickoff. A full-service bar and grill, indoor restrooms, security, and more. TailgatersParking.com.
Here's Ben and John Lupo, owners of Beard's Diamonds.
It's funny, my dad has sold people engagement rings, and now I'm selling their kids engagement rings and anniversary gifts and birthday gifts.
We're blessed with the relationships we've built over the years.
Check out our full inventory at beardsdiamonds.com.
Beard's Diamonds in the St. John's Town Ultrasound Center.
It's kind of like his own private locker, and you're his guest.
Every time we talk, I'm reinvigorated by my love of the game.
Hayes Carline here. Find my blog at 1010XL.com.
Hayes Blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
With tens of thousands of satisfied patients across America, it's no surprise QC Kinetics gets 5-star reviews.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I can recommend them highly. I would recommend QC to anybody.
QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
Real people with real lasting relief from joint pain.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me.
I was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
This non-surgical approach is definitely the future.
I tell as many people as possible. I am an ambassador. I love QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. No drugs, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Mark Watson for Hardball Creative. Free promo tip. Put your logo on golf balls and give them to clients who are bad golfers. More hacks equals more exposure. Trust me, it's science. HardballCreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Were you forced into a nosebleed mortgage rate in this past year? Loan Pronto is here to rescue you. Hey, it's Prosser. Listen. If your mortgage rate is over 7, you're going to be in heaven with Loan Pronto's zero-cost refi. You can cut your house payment by hundreds of dollars and even do it with zero closing costs and no appraisal. Rates have plummeted to the lowest point in nearly 12 months, and it's time to say goodbye to that bad loan you got stuck with. Loan Pronto's got APRs with fixed rates in the 5s. So don't live with that record high a day longer. You can lock in a lower rate now with virtually no paperwork or cost involved. Call now and see how much lower you can get your house payment. Refi now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call for a free 30-second quote, 904-999-1508. At loanpronto.com, you can find out more. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
All right, Hacker and Ballou and Hacker, 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars and the Panthers, Sunday at 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear it right here. Pre-game coverage begins at 8 o'clock. We'll take you all the way through the 5th quarter. So 12 hours of game day coverage, Rick, coming up on Sunday. It is Fan Appreciation Day down at Everbank Stadium, and we always appreciate our listeners here on 1010XL, so why don't we hook him up right now?
Yeah, why don't we do that? RJ Saunders is a giver, and he's got 2 tickets for the matchup. But here's the deal. You need to answer this question. We know in 1995, when Jacksonville and Carolina rolled in, a couple of expansion teams, Tony Baselli became the first ever Jacksonville Jaguar selected. He also was the first player to ever go to the Hall of Fame. Fred Taylor, one of the 15 finalists. We're going to get to that coming up in a little bit. But we want to know who Carolina's first ever player drafted was. If you can tell us who that Panther was, you get 2 tickets for the matchup coming up Sunday between the Jaguars and the Panthers. And you get an opportunity right now to talk with RJ Saunders, the number 641-1010. Okay, let's get after it. Really bothered by this, really disturbed. Again, another recent poll, a recent survey. This is in connection with betonline.com and Chat GPT. Do you do the GPT stuff yet? Have you?
GPT.
It's kind of like an expanded, almost Google, but it does a little bit of work for you. Like say all of a sudden we found out we had to interview someone from SMU after this thriller that's going on right now at Fenway.
Yes.
Between SMU and BC, and you and I have no clue what's going on with SMU. You could go to GPT and ask, what questions, football-related, should I ask? And they'll provide answers for you.
Really?
I think they only take it through like 2021 or 2022. I don't use it nearly as much, but I think the younger generation really does. Anyway, it's a new tool that's becoming quite popular. It's called, GPT. All right. So they came up with the top 5 toughest fan bases, and they went through all 32 to what they say, the weakest fan base in the National Football League. This is based in order on toughness, okay, a mix of historical team characteristics, fan loyalty, the general aura associated with the team's city or region. Results are in. Okay, no surprise at all. Old school teams, blue-collar type teams are the tops. Pittsburgh, Green Bay, Chicago, Philadelphia. I'm a little bit surprised by the Raiders only because they've been in Oakland, L.A., Oakland, and Las Vegas. Nonetheless, they came in at number 5. Do we have a winner, RJ, for those tickets?
We do have a winner.
Who is it, please?
Andrew.
Andrew! Congratulations. We'll see you at the bank Sunday. You and someone else. You get 2 tickets. The winner was Kerry Collins, for those who may have forgotten.
Kerry Collins went after Baselli. I don't think Carolina had the number 1 pick. Carolina, for some reason, had like the 4th or 5th pick.
You have to
that
look back
year.
on it.
It was weird the way it worked out.
Yeah, but he was their first ever draft pick.
He was the first ever draft pick.
Yeah, he was Tony Baselli in Carolina back in the year 1995. So congratulations, Andrew. You have a couple of tickets for the game on Sunday. Okay, so let's get to it. We can go through all 32 teams, but I don't want to do that. Instead, I want to get straight to it, okay? 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. Arizona at 28. The Rams at 29. The Bengals at 30. The Chargers at 31. And the team that they believe has the weakest fan base in the National Football League, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Now, when you say weakest, again, just for clarity's sake and for people that are listening, they're defining weakest by what? What's the criteria here?
Historical. A mix of historical team characteristics.
Okay, the Jaguars are a young team.
All right, fan loyalty.
That's bogus, and I'll get to that in a moment.
Right. The general aura associated with the team's city or region.
Okay, and a lot of that, you know what, the Super Bowl being here was great for a lot of different reasons. It was also bad that it was here because Jacksonville has been ripped unmercifully by a lot of people for 20 years because of that Super Bowl.
Bro, I was in Chicago.
Yeah.
And a bunch of Chicago people were here. And I had a bunch of young girls at the time. And I was driving around, dropping off at school, picking up because I worked nights. And I was listening to these people in Chicago where it was like it was outside right now. It was gray, it was cold, it was rainy, it was awful. I hadn't seen the sun in a month. And they were complaining about Jacksonville. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people? But you're right. The Super Bowl really hurt this city. They got awful weather. I didn't go to the game. Again, I was in Chicago. I want you to continue your thought, but I just want to tell you that I was there, and I heard people in Chicago. You get 30 nice days a year in Chicago complaining about Duval.
And it was the national guys. It was Rome. It was Kornheiser. It was all the guys that had a big voice back then. And look, so it was great to have it here, but I think ultimately 20 years later, the aura, as you mentioned, of Jacksonville was affected by that Super Bowl. And by the way, the people that put the Super Bowl on here did a fantastic job. They cannot control the weather. All right, they can't do anything about that. The fan loyalty aspect of this, saying Jacksonville essentially has the weakest fans as far as loyalty goes, is absolutely crazy, ridiculous, whatever verbiage you want to use. I know you do a lot of out-of-market interviews like I do. Like we had Mike Kay on from Charlotte yesterday to preview the Panthers. I go on Charlotte radio to talk about the Jags. We go on Kansas City radio, Buffalo radio, you name it. And almost across the board, they'll ask about Trevor, and they'll ask about Doug Peterson, but they'll also ask about moving to London, and are there tarps still on the stadium, and this, that, and the other. That's what people outside this city think of your town, of your city. They don't know any better. They don't care to educate themselves on it. And what's unfortunate is you go to any market, Pittsburgh, New York, you even saw it in Kansas City last week. The defending world champions, their upper deck was pretty empty for a team that's all of a sudden 9-5 and middle of the pack in the AFC. Right. Imagine being the worst team in football 13 out of 15 years, which is arguably what the Jaguars have been. The worst. I don't care if it's Arrowhead, if it's Lambeau, if it's whatever they call that thing in Pittsburgh now. If you have the worst team in football 13 out of 15 years, there's going to be 15,000 empty seats in every one of those stadiums too. There is a core 50,000 here that is as good as any core 50,000 in the league, and nobody acknowledges them because they like to refer to Jacksonville as a punchline, and it's really a shame.
Yeah, and obviously the stadium is too big. It's a city where more and more are moving in daily, but those folks are not Jaguar fans. They're coming from other parts of the country, and you're now asking them to become Jaguar fans. And when you're consistently a losing franchise, that is going to hurt. Now, I understand that they're on the cusp of winning a consecutive AFC South title, and that is certainly going to turn some things around. But what do they expect when they say tough? Do they need video of fans beating up other fans in the stadium, in the parking lot? I mean, they're saying they're not tough. That drives me crazy. The one part of this that I'm not going to offer a complaint, but I'm just going to ask straight out. When you say the aura associated with the team's city or region, is there enough of that here in Jacksonville? Okay, and what I mean by that is I can only base this on the 4 places I have been in my entire life: Boston, Tallahassee, Chicago, and Jacksonville. When you go to mom and pop places in Boston and in Chicago, when you go to dive bars where your feet are stuck to the bricks or the pavement, whatever it is, everywhere in that city, Red Sox, Cubs, Bears, Patriots, even with the Patriots stuff, is there enough of that around? When you drive around Jacksonville and you look at billboards, when you go into your favorite watering hole, is there enough where you walk in and if it was a picture in a movie, you know, when a movie begins and you're like, what do you think this movie is being shot? Where is it located? Trying to figure things out. Is there enough of that around here where when you go into places, it's Jaguars this, it's Jaguars that? I'm thinking of the places that I go to and I have spirits. No. First of all, we don't have a lot of mom and pop places here in town. We have crap Irish bars here in town. But it's plastic. Oh, I'm going to get that Tony Baselli autograph frame thing and put it up there and show that it's authentic and all that. I'm talking about old school. You know, this guy came in and had a beer at my bar. I snapped a photograph of him. I'm going to put that 8x10 up and have him sign it and, you know, not have it look like some college graduate interior decorator came in and did it. No. I want the thing slapped up, you know, wrinkled in one corner. You know, understand what I'm trying to get at? That's aura of a city that's been around for a long time. Like Tailgater's Bar, for instance, or something like that. That's right on the cusp of the stadium. We don't have enough of that. We don't have enough signs that are hanging up. You see the one over the Main Street Bridge that says, Go Jags. There's not enough of that in this city, in my opinion.
Well, and a lot of that, too, is going to Boston. The bars around Fenway Park for the Red Sox, the bars around Gillette Stadium at Patriots
and they've
Place.
Been there for they've been there for over 100 years. And I get that.
And I'm not going to relitigate, the fact there's nothing around that stadium downtown, but there is nothing around that stadium downtown until they do something about that, and hopefully they will sooner rather than later. I think I'm a good test case because I'm 40 years old. The Jacksonville Jaguars played their first game in Jacksonville when I was 11. And when I was 11 years old, my dad and my uncle were Washington Redskin fans because the Redskins, I guess I could call them that. That's what they were called back in the mid-'90s. They were the team that was on here. And I had some other family members that were Miami Dolphin fans. So I'm 11 years old. I'm a Jaguar fan. I grew up at Alltel Stadium and Jacksonville Municipal Stadium. And now, of course, it's Everbank Stadium. And the generation that I'm in, right, the 30 to 40-year-old generation, is diehard, passionate Jaguar fans. Teal Street Hooligans, Bold City Brigade, among all of those. The problem, Rick, is that our children, now I got to the party late. My son's only 4, but some 40-year-olds have teenagers. Some 40-year-olds have 10, 11, 12-year-old kids. Our children don't know anything but the Jaguars being awful.
I know. Yeah,
so
that's fair.
We were 11. We had to adopt the Jaguars, and everybody's like, well, when the next generation of Jaguar fans, you'll see the fan base ignite and explode. Well, you saw that, and you have seen that with the Brigade and every other fan group. But our kids don't know anything except the Jaguars being terrible. I got a buddy that's got a 16-year-old in high school, is a diehard Travis Kelce Kansas City Chief fan. Lives in Jacksonville. Why is he a diehard Kansas City Chief fan? Because they've been good.
Yep. That's fair.
He's adopted the Chiefs because they're the team that's winning.
Well, we all love winners. We all love. I mean, it's hard to support a loser. It's hard to support consistently a loser. You see it around here. Those Florida State bad years, look at that stadium. Those Florida bad years, look at that stadium. Look at everything around here. Every sport. I mean, the Florida Panthers 5 years ago drew about 5,000. Mm-hmm. Now, all of a sudden, they're one of the best teams in the National Hockey League. They sell out. Tampa Bay, the Lightning built that brand new stadium downtown. That may be the best ticket in the state. You go to a Tampa Bay Lightning playoff game, let me tell you something right now. That is electrifying. Here's one right here, 8259. Rick, those other cities have multiple franchises. That's my point. This is all that you have. This is it. And, I've been to every NFL stadium. I want to tell you something. I go to Indianapolis, there's not Colts crap all over the place. That's a Final Four town. That's a NASCAR town. That's a hoop town. I've been on Broadway. I went every year in Tennessee. Nashville isn't oh my God, it's a Tennessee. It's not. Houston, RJ, you were in Houston. That city is ridiculously spread out like this one is. There's not Texan stuff. So in the division, I think you can make the case that Jacksonville was the most passionate fan base out of those 4 teams. Yet they are far and away, according to this poll, using 2 sources, Bet Online and Chat GPT, that they're not. And it bothers me.
Yeah, well, that poll is bunk. I don't agree with the poll. And that goes back to the passion. The Jaguars have been awful 13 out of the last 15 years, yet, despite all that, they are getting a consistent 50, 55, 60,000 people at that stadium. Again, other NFL fan bases, I don't know if that would happen. In Chicago, the Bears have been awful. Look at some of the crowds at Soldier Field as of late.
Right.
They're not getting 55,000 people in there. At least they hadn't been in the last couple of years before Justin Fields. That, to me, speaks to the passion and the strength of this fan base.
It's a very good fan base. Here's another one, 3408. He says he lives in Charlotte. He's from Jacksonville. And he says there's no Panthers presence. And you know what? I agree. I was at that game in 2019 when they lost 34-27. I go every year in late July for the Atlantic Coast Conference football meetings. We go out at night, okay? There's no Carolina Panthers presence. Jacksonville's getting a raw deal here. But what I'm trying to do, and the reason why I raise this is they're trying to make a point. Wouldn't it be, quick, where is there a Jaguar bar in town? I don't know. Are they out at the beach? Are they over here in Tinseltown? I don't go anywhere near, what do they call it, the town center? I get freaking hives if I get within a mile. With seeing some of those overfed individuals looking for parking spots, I just stay clear. But give me a great Jaguars bar in Jacksonville when you go there, you know it's Jaguar represented. It's a great Jaguar town. I'm trying to figure that out.
I know we have done shows in the past with the Fifth Quarter that have had some good Jaguar bars, some good Jaguar representation. I think your point is there's not nearly enough of them. And I don't know, how you change that. I guess winning will change a lot of it. But again, it's been hard to be a Jaguar supporter when they've been in the doldrums like they have a majority of the last decade and a half.
I think Jacksonville's better than Miami. I think Jacksonville's better than Tampa Bay.
It's better than Tampa. I got family in Tampa. The Buccaneers are they're not a big presence there either.
All right, let's take a break. So, again, this is kind of twofold. I don't agree with the poll, and I'm complaining about the poll. However, trying to find a way to make it a little bit better. How do you make it better? And, I'm not going to mention names of places if you don't spend money on this radio station. That's just the way I'm wired. send me a bar. Send me a restaurant that is a great Jaguars restaurant. I feel I know, except for out there on the west side. That's Iraq to me, okay? I mean, you might as well put me over there. I know that outside of Cassett and Blanding and watching the women take the stroll and the tumbleweaves on Lane Avenue. Outside of that, I know nothing about the west side.
That's where you grew up, on the ball over there, man, on the AM 600 back in the day.
Oh, my God, 1990, coming in, I was like, here's where you're going to work. I'm like, what?
I ever tell you that story?
Do we even have running water off of Lane Avenue?
I won trivia over there, and I'm thinking I'm going into this great building, the ball, Rick Ballou, and I think it was Bill Riley was the morning guy, and it turned out it's a dirt road in the middle of the woods. I'm like, where on earth are they taking me?
In my nearly 3 years of the ball, I never used the lavatory once. I'm talking about to go number one, not number two.
Yeah.
That's how disgusting, that's how unethical the bathrooms were at the old ball.
Get bowl game play-by-play on 1010XL.
It's the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, live from TIAA Bank Field. The Clemson Tigers and Kentucky Wildcats, tomorrow at noon on 1010 a.m.
Elevate your driving experience with Osteen Volvo Cars of Jacksonville. The Osteen Volvo team is a key piece of our community, and when it comes to cars, excellence is non-negotiable. Visit Osteen Volvo on Phillips Highway, online at osteenvolvo.com.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Get Gators play-by-play on 1010XL. Brought to you by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Were you forced into a nosebleed mortgage rate in this past year? Loan Pronto is here to rescue you. Hey, it's Prosser. Listen, if your mortgage rate is over 7, you're going to be in heaven with Loan Pronto's zero-cost refi. You can cut your house payment by hundreds of dollars and even do it with zero closing costs and no appraisal. Rates have plummeted to the lowest point in nearly 12 months, and it's time to say goodbye to that bad loan you got stuck with. Loan Pronto's got APRs with fixed rates in the 5s. So don't live with that record high a day longer. You can lock in a lower rate now with virtually no paperwork or cost involved. Call now and see how much lower you can get your house payment. Refi now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call for a free 30-second quote, 904-999-1508. At loanpronto.com, you can find out more. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On December 28, 2008, Detroit Lions fall to Green Bay 31-21 to become the first team in NFL history to go winless in a 16-game season.
At ABBQ, they are turning up the heat on game day with a spread that'll make your taste buds do a victory dance. Football and barbecue always play together. I'm talking mouthwatering wings, juicy burgers, and tantalizing appetizers that'll keep your hunger in check as you cheer for your team. Come for the food and football, and stay for the teal-colored Jell-O shots. Your destination for mouthwatering barbecue and an unforgettable game day. ABBQ. Meet and drink with us.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Let's talk a little bit about guarantees and warranties and what they mean. I've heard you say that Underwoods guarantees the price paid on a diamond solitaire if you trade it in for a larger diamond later on, and that you give a 5-year warranty on a Rolex bought from Underwoods. Just how do you monitor all of that?
David, I think before you can talk about a guarantee or a warranty, you have to first look at a company's history of how they've treated customers in the past and how long they've been in business. Because a warranty or a guarantee is really nothing more than the word of a company. Their history and reputation will give you a good indication of how they stand behind their products. As far as how all this gets monitored, a lot of companies give you something in writing, and if you lose it, well, then you don't have a guarantee anymore. At Underwoods, we keep up with the price paid and the date of purchase, so if a customer loses their receipt, we've captured all the information and can retrieve it for them. I guess simply stated, at Underwood's, our guarantees and warranties are our word. And since 1928, that's been the most sacred thing we have to offer.
Underwood Jewelers.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World,
simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
It's the biggest, brightest end of the year clearance sale at First Coast Lighting and Fans on Phillips Highway. Get 40 to 60% off display lighting, fans, and home decor to make room for new merchandise coming next year. Hurry in to the store today because quantities are limited and their best selections won't last long at 40 to 60% off clearance pricing. Upgrade your furnishings for the holidays with the biggest savings of the year at First Coast Lighting and Fans on Phillips Highway.
Attention men and women, if you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Congratulations to Fred Taylor. He has been named a Modern Era finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now one step closer. Taylor is one of 15 finalists. The class of 2024 will be announced on February 8th. And Coach Doug Peterson spoke to media this morning. He announced that Trevor Lawrence, who is battling through a right shoulder injury, is expected to be limited participant today at practice. Other injury news, Peterson says that Tyson Campbell is limited with a broken tip of his finger that occurred against the Bucs this last week. He does have plans to ease him in to the game plan. Good news for the offensive line. Cam Robinson looks ready to go. Peterson said he will make a decision on left guard as the week continues. Walker Little and Ezra Cleveland both battling through injuries. I'm Taylor Dahl with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
See, this sounds like a smoky lounge. Now, if you told me this was a smoky lounge that had
count it up, count it up, count it up, count it up, count it up,
a Dave Weidel towel that has never been washed before hanging from a wall or something like that, and I could see me ordering a couple more Irish shots, a couple more dues, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's atmosphere to me. And I'm not ripping. I'm trying to make it better. I'm tired of the negativity. I'm tired of this city getting, the Jason Kelce's of the world out of nowhere saying Jaguar fans suck or whatever. I've had it. And, this poll is bogus. But how do you make it better? And I'm getting a bunch of names here from a bunch of restaurants and bars that don't spend money on this radio station, so you're not getting a free plug. However, if you'd like to advertise, Here's my cell number, 315-5924. Get to me. Although I am devoted to those over at the Ballou Crab House.
Yeah.
GF went last night with her friends, Dollar Oysters.
I like
on Wednesday night.
the living room type feel at the Blue Crab House. Yeah.
They got some Jaguars memorabilia there.
They do. Yeah.
But I just, back when the Super Bowl came here, and Paul Atner, the columnist of the Sporting News, calls me up and says, Ballou, I'm going into Jacksonville. Give me a couple of good restaurants that I should go to back in that would have been what,
2004?
I'm like, yeah, restaurant. Okay, yeah, there's a great Chili's right there on Bay Meadows. All right, I go to, and also that's catty corner to a BW3.
You get smothered, covered in diced at the Waffle House on Butler.
You know what's great about that BW3 and that shopping area is that you don't even have to wait for a waitress. You get to go up and order, then they call a number, and you go up and you get your own food. But I was like, at that point, in my life, I was making zero money. I was like, a nice restaurant in Jacksonville. I didn't even know what a nice restaurant
now, in fairness,
Jacksonville was.
In the last 20 years, there's a lot of nice places to go to.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
Back then, there was no Tinseltown.
Or Town Center, yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, again, that's no radio embellishment. I legitimately said there's a great Chili's on Bay Meadows. Okay? Because that's where I lived, and that's where I basically.
You lived on Bay Meadows?
Yeah, when I first moved to the town, I lived out there. Actually, I moved right out here off South Side.
I lived for
right by the school.
For 9 months, my mom got transferred over, and I lived on the Bay Meadows golf course when it was actually still a golf course. We lived on hole 16 for 9 months before we moved to Mandarin. That Chili's you're referring to is still there, I believe.
Then I moved in with my girlfriend at the time, and that didn't work out, so I moved out, and unfortunately she got in an accident but became a multimillionaire because she had a great ambulance-chasing lawyer. I'm like, just my luck.
How about that?
Just my luck. Doug Peterson spoke today, gave us the very latest on the health of Trevor Lawrence.
Defensive guys, say like Andre Sisco had a shoulder earlier. You can harness those things and kind of keep things nice and tight, and he can still practice, right? As long as you don't bang him around and all that. Well, with the quarterback, you're handing the ball off, with that right arm. You're throwing with the right arm. You're stressing the shoulder a little bit more. So those are all things you got to be careful of. And it's really a tolerance thing, more than anything else, but you still want to be careful, every day you're out there.
If it's a tolerance thing, he's playing.
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence is a tough guy.
Yeah, you go from a DNP, a do not practice on Wednesday, to being limited on Thursday. Odds are you continue in that trajectory, you're going to play. But I will go back and say what I said yesterday. And look, I don't think it's crazy because Cecil Shorts, a former Jaguar player, said the same thing. I know it's a must-win against Carolina, and I know Trevor Lawrence gives you the best opportunity to win. But, man, wouldn't it be nice if you could just win this game with C.J. Beathard, to have Trevor, who's probably 75, 80% now, to have an extra 6 or 7 days for what is likely a must-win in Nashville next week to get that much healthier. I know coaches don't think that way, and odds are it's going to be Trevor Lawrence, but do you want to keep throwing him out there at 75%, keep getting him injured every single week? So next week, we're talking about something else leading into the Titan game.
Well, as you said, that's not the way the coaches think. And again, I think you can make that case, and it would have more substance early in the season. But here we are, week 17, game 16. And if he can go, he's going to play. And if it's a pain tolerance issue, I'm convinced that Trevor Lawrence is going to play. A couple of other bits of news. Christian Braswell, his 21-day practice window ended yesterday. He is not going to be at practice today, will not be activated, so his season officially does come to an end. He will revert back to the reserve injured list, and you heard Taylor Dahl mention it a moment ago during her update. The other big announcement that did come out today is on Tyson Campbell, broke the tip of his finger in that matchup against Tampa Bay last week. To me, that's still fascinating. Yes, the game was out of hand. Here we are talking about why didn't you sit down Trevor and Travis. They did sit down Andre Sisco and Tyson Campbell in that second half, and I know they're both coming off injuries, but Trevor's now had 4 injuries, and let's not let it get lost that Travis Etienne has been playing with banged-up ribs and a chest. And I'm not going to say anything that I don't know for sure, With some of the things that I have heard involved with ETN, it's a lot worse than what people may believe it actually is.
Yet they flat out refuse to give Dearness Johnson any carries or Tank Bigsby, your third-round pick, any carries. And they only gave ETN 6 carries at that. Everybody's banged up this time of year. But as we talked about, you look at the injury report. I mean, Carolina had 8 guys yesterday that did not practice. And I'm not counting the 2 guys that sat out due to veteran rest days. So they basically had 10 guys that did not practice, 8 of which had injuries in some capacity. We'll see what happens when their injury report comes out today. Every team is banged up. But again, Rick, for all the injuries the Jaguars have had, and obviously there's still 2 big ones with Christian Kirk and with Trevor and the uncertainty with Trevor, all things considering, this is going to be as healthy as the Jaguars have been in a while when Cam Robinson and Zay Jones come back. I mean, there's a lot of bodies that are going to be out there for the Jaguars, and they're getting healthy at the end of the year.
I mean, they've only scored 19 points in the last 2 games. I would expect this to explode. So if you hear people say, well, wait a minute here, Ballou, it's the 5th overall total defense in the NFL. Okay, they're also the 30th scoring defense in the NFL. There's a lot of analogies I could give you right now, but I'm not since we're midday.
Yeah.
That's the difference between getting me at night. If I was on at 6 o'clock right now or later, I would absolutely drop that. But I have a feeling with the holidays going on, there's some little boys out there listening, some little girls, and I want to respect that.
School is out. We welcome all listeners to 1010XL. Do you like the matchup, though, on Sunday between Derek Brown and Luke Fortner? Are you excited about that one for the Jaguars?
All right, let's ask our buddy Leon Searcy about that. He joins us next, getting a lot of stuff in on the poll. Okay, we'll revert back to that as well. Because I know it's boiling your blood, and it should. And again, I want to be concise on this. I'm trying to make it better. I'm trying to think of ways to improve this. And taking someone out and beating them in the parking lot is not one way. No, that's the wrong way. But having establishments, having places in town that feel like Jaguar-only related, I think would be very cool.
He's a defender of the faith.
Here he comes, and he gets a strip sack again.
Superior Fence and Rail highlights the defensive player of the game.
Ball is loose.
On 1010XL, Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
At Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services, we're here to help with a lot. Not just septic tank pump outs and installations, we also offer sewer and drain cleaning, water heater repairs, lift station services, septic system inspections, backflow services, sump pump replacements, and more. We're your professional plumber who can do it all. So for any of the above, just call the Duck.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
This is head coach Matthew Driscoll from the UNF men's basketball team. When our players suffer an orthopedic injury, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists gets our players back on the court pain-free.
We appreciate the endorsements from our high school and college coaches. This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
It's the final home game of the regular season, and it's all about you, Jaguars fans. Join us in celebrating the best fans in the league Sunday, December 31st for our fan appreciation game. Watch as your Jacksonville Jaguars take on the Carolina Panthers at 1 p.m. Don't miss out on your final chance to see the team at Everbank Stadium during the regular season, and go to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000 to secure your seats now. We can't wait to celebrate you, Jags fans.
Men suffering from ED or PE, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center. For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. You'll even get a gift that enhances performance in the bedroom. Call 904-664-8217.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From Roll-and Lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years, you can count on Catlin.
With tens of thousands of satisfied patients across America, it's no surprise QC Kinetics gets 5-star reviews.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I can recommend them highly. I would recommend QC to anybody. QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
Real people with real lasting relief from joint pain.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me.
It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
This non-surgical approach is definitely the future.
I tell as many people as possible. I am an ambassador. I love QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. No drugs, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Our biggest sales event of the year is going on now. Happy Honda Days. Savings, value, quality, safety, special financing. This is truly our biggest sales event of the year. Visit your local Honda dealer now for the deal you've been waiting for all year. Don't miss it.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers. I'm Taylor Dahl for 1010XL. Congratulations to former Florida Gator Fred Taylor. He has been named a Modern Era finalist for the 2024 Pro Football Hall of Fame. Taylor, in his time at Florida, earned All-American honors from Walter Camp Football Foundation and was named All-SEC his senior year, leading the Gators in rushing that season with 1,292 yards and 13 touchdowns. A member of the 1996 National Championship team, now one step closer to being a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Winners are announced on February 8th. And are you going to the game on Sunday? Save gas and avoid parking hassles by taking the JTA Game Day Express with 5 convenient locations and passes starting at $10. Learn more at jtafla.com. 59 degrees at 103. Time and temper brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
1 o'clock hour has arrived. Ballou and Hacker with you today and tomorrow. 1010XL, 92.5 FM. The Jaguars and the Panthers on Sunday. The regular season home finale. Let's talk to a guy that's played a lot of big games in a Jaguar uniform. You hear him every day on primetime, and you get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark and into the night. That's our buddy Leon Searcy. Leon, how we doing?
How you doing, gentlemen? Doing well.
Hey, Leon, appreciate the time as always. Before we get into the game coming up on Sunday, let's talk about your former teammate, Fred Taylor. Leon is now in the room. He is one of the 15 finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They will talk about Fred Taylor the first time he's made the finals list. What's your thought on Freddie T finally getting into that room?
Well, I mean, listen, it's a hell of an accomplishment. You know, Freddie T is one of the all-time greats in my opinion, and I may be a little biased because I blocked for him, but amazing talent, amazing speed, amazing agility, strength, power, all that kind of stuff. I mean, he's all that stuff wrapped up in one, and his breakaway ability. I mean, listen, you give Freddie T you give him a ounce of daylight, he's out the gate. And I mean, he had the home run. You're talking about the guy who had home run speed at any given time. I mean, this guy could take it to the house, man. It was a pleasure. You know, the funny thing about it is that you don't realize until you finish playing how many great players that you were blessed to play with. And I played with some of the all-time greats, that I believe that Freddie T is one of them.
You know, Leon, there's no such thing as small market anymore, in my opinion, with social media, and that every game is out there for everyone to see, from, you know, Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon. But do you think Fred Taylor you think small market is the reason why he's not in?
You know what? I don't think so. I don't think so. Listen, at that particular time, Jacksonville was on the map. I mean, from '96 to 2000. I mean, you know, you talk about elite teams. We were in an elite team, and Fred was on a part of the teams that were elite. So, I mean, at that particular era, I think Jacksonville dominated the NFL at some degree, and we got the nationwide attention because we had so much success for those times that we made those playoff runs. So, I just don't believe in that. And listen, I believe that if you're good, if you're great, you should be honored, and that's the reason why I believe that Fred should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and what's amazing to me, I really went back and crunched some numbers today. He's 17th all-time in rushing, 11,695, and that's where it ends. Everyone ahead of him is in the Hall of Fame, except for two players who are not eligible yet, Frank Gore, who, of course, is from the U, and Adrian Peterson. All of the other 14, are in the Hall of Fame. And, Leon, you know what's amazing here? If you look at players, historically speaking, with 10,000 yards or more, Fred Taylor's average of 4.6 yards a carry is only behind Jim Brown and Barry Sanders at 5.2 and 5. Also on there, believe it or not, is Tiki Barber at 4.7. He's not in the Hall of Fame. But just to kind of put that in perspective, yards per carry, he's right there with Jim Brown and Barry Sanders.
I'm not surprised. I mean, listen, before, you know, Jim Brown passed away, I can remember there was an interview where Jim Brown said he loved watching Freddie T. I mean, if that's not accolades, if that's not recognition, I mean, what else is? I mean, Freddie T was just one of those backs, man, who was, you know, he was so elusive and had a great job. His jump step, it's not easy. His jump step, slide and then run.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing of beauty. I mean, I remember the first time Baselli and I saw him. We was in the stadium. I think we were scrimmaging the defense or whatever. And we ran like a 36 or 37 zone, and he took it to the house. And I remember me and Tony looking at each other like, "Wow, we got us one."
Hey, I forgot to put O.J. Simpson on that list at 4.7. I don't want him getting mad at me.
No, you don't want the Juice getting mad at you. No question.
Yeah, because he's on Twitter now. He might call you out.
Yeah, the Juice is very active on social media. Leon Searcy here with us, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, Leon, they got to do something on Sunday, right? I don't care how they do it, man. They got to find a way to have more points than the lowly Carolina Panthers. You got to end this 4-game losing streak. Amazingly, there are scenarios where they can win the AFC South on Sunday, Leon. There's also a scenario where they could be eliminated from winning the AFC South. So you want to talk about must-win time, we're pretty much here in the city of Jacksonville.
Well, you know what? The Jaguars just need to get back to the business of playing ball. I mean, stop playing. Get back to the business of playing ball. This team needs to find some kind of identity, especially offensively. I don't know what we are offensively. We don't have any kind of staple of what we want to do. I mean, try running the football. You know, try being physical up front. I mean, at this particular time of the season, I mean, all the other teams are in cage matches and we're on the playground. I mean, you got to be, your intensity level in December has got to be impressionable upon your opponent, or you're going to get beat. This team just. I mean, listen. When I saw the game last week, and I know it's time for us to move on from it, but when we played Tampa Bay, I mean, that team looked like a team that didn't want to make the playoffs. They had no desire to play in any more football games, and that was disheartening because you need to be playing your best football right now in December so it can carry over into January. And this team right now, it to me just doesn't seem to be mentally or physically ready to move on into January.
I look at some of these draft picks, and it's amazing to me. I'm really down on Luke Fortner as a former third-round pick at center. Then I look at this year's third-round pick, Tank Bigsby. He's had 6 snaps in the last 5 games. He's had 2 carries in the last 5 games. Leon, if you can't run the ball and you're down by 3 possessions, why not give Tank Bigsby the football this past Sunday late against Tampa Bay? Maybe you can flip that switch. Maybe he finds something. I understand it's been a really bad year, but in a meaningless situation like that, why not go to him?
Well, listen, I agree with you, Rick. I mean, when you're down by 3 scores, the one thing you could do is, give your rookie some carries. But essentially, you gotta also know this, Rick, that this late in the season, if the guy's not getting any reps, man, it's because you're not trusted. At this particular point in the season, I understand it was already a blowout. You could have gave the kids some reps, but it's apparent to me that, and just my history of knowing, being in the league where young cats don't get plays is me because they're either not exerting themselves in practice to where the coaching staff want to give them reps, or they're not trusted. They're not trusted to. They're not trusted in the playbook. So, I mean, that could be an indictment on him, or that could be an indictment on the coaching staff. But for whatever reason, this kid's not getting any touches. It has a lot to do with himself, in my opinion.
Final moments with Leon Searcy. Leon, 1 win, right? Sky is falling. They've lost 4 in a row. People here are thinking that the season's over. 1 win against Carolina. Will that get the ship corrected, in your opinion?
It will. I mean, it would just change the energy in the building, in the office. When you're on a losing streak like this, man, 4-game losing streak, I mean, everything's bad when you come to work. The coffee sucks. The donuts suck. I mean, the relationships with people, you're grim and groom. It's just bad. So, I mean, you just got to get your mojo back, something sort of say. And a win will help you get your mojo back. Because that 1 win and then another win against the Titans next week, I mean, now you've got this new energy going into the playoffs. And then, listen, I don't care how you get to the dance. I don't care what the date looks like, as long as you get to the dance. So, I mean, it could be ugly, but in the playoffs, anything can happen.
You never lost at home. You never lost with the Canes. You had a lot of success in Pittsburgh and Jacksonville here at home. I got to believe there's internal pressure there, 2-5. Can you relate, or maybe you can't, to what they're going through now about winning a home game here against a 2-13 football team?
Yeah, well, it shouldn't be any pressure. I mean, to be honest with you, Rick, I've never experienced more than a 3-game loser streak, and it happened actually came from Jacksonville when I was with the Steelers in '95. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. But yeah, but when you play an inferior opponent, I mean, you got to know that you can impose this will on it. But the one thing about the NFL, there are no JV teams. And any particular Sunday, a team that looks bad on record can come out and play the game of their life. They're literally their Super Bowl. They have nothing else to lose. So this Jaguars team has to jump on this Panther team early. I mean, you got to jump on them early and take away any hope that they may have in this game, because if you make it a game in the fourth quarter and they're hanging around and they're a possession away from taking the lead, I mean, now you're scrambling. You're trying to stay afloat, and I think that's the last thing this team wants to do. So what you want to do is take this team out early and often, and then kind of cruise on through the third and the fourth quarter. Because if you make it a game and they're down by a possession and they can win it, doesn't look good for the home team. Hope that doesn't happen this Sunday.
Hey, Leon, last one from me. You're one of the best offensive linemen that's ever played here, so you're the guy to ask. They can't run the ball. Trevor's getting killed every game, getting injured every game. Statistically, the offensive line is ranked 30th or whatever in the NFL. I mean, on paper, they look like they are awful. From a guy that played that position as well as you did for over a decade, is it as bad as guys like me and Ballou believe it is?
They're soft, Hat, and no other way to put it. When you're ranked 30th in the NFL, you can't run the ball, you can't protect the passer. And that's an indictment on everybody that starts on that front line. I mean, from tackle to tackle, interiorly as well. So I mean, I don't know how you rectify that. I don't know how the Jaguars are 7.5-point favorites with an offensive line that can't run the ball or protect the passer. I really don't. I mean, right now, they're the worst, in my opinion. They're the worst seeded team in the playoffs right now, in my opinion.
Hmm.
and they're soft up front. And I don't know how you rectify it. I mean, this is week 16, week 15 or 16 right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. What can you do in practice to get them going? What I noticed this offensive line does. I mean, everything is position blocking. There's no flatbacks. There's no get off. They hardly get to the second level because they can't get on double teams effectively and get off on linebackers. I mean, it's sad to see this offensive line that I prided so much when I play this poorly.
Hey, Leon, have a great show coming up this afternoon. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Rick.
All right.
Appreciate it, Hat.
He'll get things started here in 45 minutes. They'll get things cranked up today at 2 o'clock. Again, afternoon show for Angie and Company off this week. Hacker and I have been doing it from 12 to 3, 12 to 2 today. They'll be on 2 to 4, prime time, then Jaguars programming. We will be back 6 to 8, yours truly, on Monday, you beginning at 8 on Monday. I do want to say that today's show is also brought to you by the good folks over at Patriot Roofing Services. You know, it looks nasty out there, right? I haven't been outside in a little bit, but it certainly appeared that it was going to be bad. A lot of rain, man. If you got a roof that's leaking, all right, if you got a roof that is just in need of change, whether it's residential or commercial, give my buddy Mark Tizzolo a phone call, 982-4052, 982-4052. As a matter of fact, he texted me a moment ago. He said he's got a couple of good Jaguar places that we can go to. I'm open for any invitation. I want to explore. I want to find out what I have been missing. And, again, I'm looking to make things better here for the city. But whether it's gutters, sun tubes, skylights, no subcontractors, it's all with Mark Tizzolo. Give him a call, 982-4052. Best bet, just check him out online. Patriot Roofing Services, all types of commercial and residential roofing and repairs. Let's take a break, and then we got a lot to do here on the other side.
We got a lot to do. We're going to keep track of Houston and Indianapolis. We're as interested in those games this weekend as the Jaguar game. Interesting injury news about guys that are not practicing for the Texans today.
Ooh, that is a tease. That's on the other side.
Sometimes the most important position in sports needs a translator.
I'm Denny Thompson, and they call me the quarterback whisperer.
He shares his insights Friday mornings on The Drill. Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security.
Register Sausage.
And George Moore Chevrolet.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
Only days remain to shake up the season and get your Toyotathon savings, because Toyotathon is on, but it's almost gone at Arlington Toyota. Right now at Arlington, get financing as low as 2.99% on 10 new Toyota models. And Arlington has more than 500 new Toyotas available. Plus, every new purchase comes with Arlington's lifetime warranty. It's the final days of Toyotathon at Arlington. Don't wait. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Let's fire up the flavor and ignite those appetites. Let's slow down and smell the barbecue. Because all your favorites are smoked for hours and ready for eating when you are. From our famous ribs to slow smoked pork. Enjoy some perfection by the plateful, safely in our dining room or in the comfort of your home. With curbside pickup, drive-through, and delivery. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Follow the Seminoles' quest back to the college football mountaintop.
I'm RJ Saunders, and I'll keep you tapped in to Tallahassee all season long on the Seminole Report.
Brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team on 1010XL.
Hard Rock Bet presents Legal in Florida.
You can bet the game on Hard Rock Bet. No more betting inside your head. Now Hard Rock Bet is legal in Florida.
no-regret first bet up to $100 when you sign up now. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 and over and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
So I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $30,000 a year and right now graduate making over $80,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition and no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted into the program, your only costs are the books and the course fees, around $700 a year.
Wow, that sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Were you forced into a nosebleed mortgage rate in this past year? Loan Pronto is here to rescue you. Hey, it's Prosser. Listen, if your mortgage rate is over 7, you're going to be in heaven with Loan Pronto's zero-cost refi. You can cut your house payment by hundreds of dollars and even do it with zero closing costs and no appraisal. Rates have plummeted to the lowest point in nearly 12 months, and it's time to say goodbye to that bad loan you got stuck with. Loan Pronto's got APRs with fixed rates in the 5s. So don't live with that record high a day longer. You can lock in a lower rate now with virtually no paperwork or cost involved. Call now and see how much lower you can get your house payment. Refi now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call for a free 30-second quote, 904-999-1508. At loanpronto.com, you can find out more. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
With tens of thousands of satisfied patients across America, it's no surprise QC Kinetics gets 5-star reviews.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I can recommend them highly. I would recommend QC to anybody.
QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
Real people with real lasting relief from joint pain.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me.
It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
This non-surgical approach is definitely the future.
I tell as many people as possible. I am an ambassador. I love QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. No drugs, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
I introduce you here to our pest solution here on the drill. It's Mission Pest Solutions, veteran and locally owned and operated. So easy to deal with. 904-944-PEST. How much can you count on them? Because you're listening to 1010XL and we're in this together. Tell them you're from 1010XL when you call 944-PEST. You'll get a free initial pest service worth $250. Good from now through the end of the year. 944-PEST. Tell them you're calling from 1010XL.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
All right, a lot of bowl games going on. The Canes. Didn't even ask Leon Cersei about the Canes. They come up in less than 1 hour. They're in the Bronx today.
That's big when you go Fenway Bowl and then go to Yankee Stadium for the next bowl game.
My goodness, New York City in the middle of Boston for bowl games.
And on December, 28th? Yeah. Yikes.
Not good at all. Hey, do you think advertising works? My buddy Jeff Gump just sent me a text, heard me talking about Patriot Roofing. Of course it works. That's why we do it. And with that said, I have a comment I would like to make real quick. Cimarron Golf. Don't drive off the road. Because the reputation is terrible, okay? It's been considered a dog track. It's like a bad meal, okay? New ownership, new money, phenomenal changes. So I'm not going to say any more about it, but here's my plea. Go try them out, and then let me know. It's 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Greens redone. New tee boxes. Fairways. It's always been a phenomenal layout. They just haven't been able to keep it up. They are keeping it up now. I want you to take a good look and play Cimarron. It's incredibly affordable. Again, you're going to hear the name and you're going to be like, what? No, come on, Ballou. We're talking about, we're Chop House guys. We're Porterhouse Steaks. You're offering me an undercooked hamburger. Trust me on this. Go try it. Brand new location. Not brand new location. Right there. Still part of the 210 Mafia. But Cimarron.
I like Cimarron. I've played it many times in the past. I've not played it in the recent history, so I would like to get back out there.
And let me know. Let me know what you think when you go out. If you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know.
What's your handicap these days?
About a 30, 32, 31, 32. No, I think I'm a 14.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Wow, good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. I'm definitely not that. I've earned my rep as the hacker on the golf course as of late, no question. By the way, Texans and Colts, so we're obviously doing everything we can to win against Carolina, obviously one game at a time, and we control our own destiny, and that's all great. But let's be honest. On 1 o'clock on Sunday, you're going to be looking at that Texan-Titan game. You're going to be looking at the Raider-Colt game. Out in Houston today, Malik Collins, Will Anderson, John Grenard, probably the 3 best defensive linemen for the Texans, are all not practicing today.
Not good.
With Derrick Henry and the Titans coming in. Now, C.J. Stroud is practicing in a limited capacity. He has missed the last 2. How do you think best case scenario for the Jaguars would be the Jaguars win, Texans and Colts lose, Jaguars win the division? I don't expect that to happen. Do you want the Texans to win and the Colts to lose? If you could have one team win and one team lose between Houston and Indy, what's best for the Jaguars on Sunday?
Well, we're talking about average to below average teams. So when I get there, to me, it's always avoid the best quarterback. Now, this is a weird scenario because on the surface, C.J. Stroud is a better quarterback than Gardner Minshew. However, he's been injured, and he's a rookie, and he's going to have to win on the road. So those are 3 things that are going against him. Minshew has experience. He's played at home. He's played on the road. And I think overall, Indianapolis may be a better team if you were to take away the quarterback. So I'm almost going away from what I would normally look at in this situation. I think if push came to shove, I still am going to take Indy here. I'd rather have it be the Colts because Stroud could, again, just show up and get right back to where he was, prior to that injury. But I got to look at those 3 things, Hack, man. You're talking about a rookie who's been injured, going on the road. That's a bad recipe to win a playoff game.
And I'll tell you this, too. The Jaguars can win the division with a win and losses by the Colts and the Texans. On the flip side, the Jaguars can be eliminated from the AFC South race if they lose to Carolina and Houston and Indy both win because Houston and Indy play each other Week 18.
Yeah.
That game is in Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, if I could have one team win and one team lose this week, I would choose the Colts to lose to the Raiders and the Texans to beat the Titans because I would still like Indy at home against Houston Week 18.
That game is in Indy next week, right?
It is in Indy.
Indy's actually 3-4 at home, 5-3 on the road.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. And Houston 5-3 at home, 3-4 away. So, pretty bizarre numbers there. Of course, Jacksonville had the best away record in the NFL with 5 overall wins. That has now been replaced within the conference by Baltimore with an away record of 7-1.
Who do you like Baltimore, Miami this week? That's for the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Baltimore's one of those teams that no matter what I do with them, the opposite happens, including last week. I imagine that just about everyone picked San Francisco. I know that I did. Baltimore's real sneaky here because they remain the one team in the NFL that wants to run the football before they actually do pass the football. And man, you lose Mark Andrews and you lose, J.K. Dobbins, and you never hear any excuses coming out of Baltimore. Then again, we're not tuned in the way we are with the Jaguars here. this is one of those deals where I'm just simply going to say home field. If this was in South Florida, I think I would take Miami. It's not. It's going to be cold. It's going to be in Baltimore. I'm going to take the Ravens.
Yeah, the Dolphins have not played well outside Miami, and here's how quick the NFL can change. Miami's celebrating that win over Dallas. They're on top of the world last week. If Miami loses to Baltimore, very plausible, and if Buffalo beats New England, very plausible, then Week 18, next Sunday, Buffalo travels to Miami, AFC East will be on the line. Craziness.
It is, and I've been saying it now for quite some time. It's certainly not a shock, but this is about as nuts as I've ever seen this league. I mean, this thing is wide open, and again, I think if we were to just take 10 phone callers in a row and say, "Quick, who's going to win the Super Bowl?" I think we get 7 or 8 different answers, which is not something that would have been the case over the last 20-plus years where, you basically knew. And, you mentioned it yesterday. It's true. You think of Kansas City. I still think they're the most dominant team, certainly in the NFL, if not absolutely in the AFC. Mahomes has never played a road playoff game.
That is nuts.
That means something.
Yeah.
In college football, and tomorrow we're really going to begin to talk about Michigan and Bama and talk about Washington and in Texas. To me, one of the biggest issues in college football for national championship teams is trailing in a game, being behind in the third quarter, being behind in the fourth quarter. Georgia had flirted with a couple of games this year, South Carolina, Auburn, what have you. Obviously, Georgia now out of it. But that's a huge sticking point for me in college. If you're blowing teams away all year and you're winning by 21-plus points and you're not tested, and then all of a sudden you get into a bowl game or now the college football playoff and you're up against that, I think that really can crush a program. I don't look at it that way in the NFL. But what I do look at is playing in the cold on the road. And, all right, Patrick Mahomes is used to the cold. He's in Kansas City. But Patrick Mahomes has never played. He played in neutral site Super Bowls, but he's never played on the road. What's it going to be like if he has to go to Baltimore? If he has to go to Miami? That's a totally different ball game from him than what he's used to, even though he's had a stellar career.
The difference in the Chiefs-Dolphins at Arrowhead compared to the Chiefs-Dolphins in South Florida is 180 degrees. Because at Arrowhead, it'll be cold, the field will be choppy, it'll be gross. Tyreek Hill and that fast Dolphin offense would not have near as much success. In South Florida, that Dolphin offense will thrive in January against Kansas City. So home field means weather, means field. It's obviously not just about the crowd. Quickly, the 25-minute period that the media was able to view the Jaguar practice has just ended. Trevor Lawrence was not seen for that 25-minute period. Take that as you will. E.J. Perry, Matt Barkley, and C.J. Beathard were the 3 quarterbacks that were visible. Trevor Lawrence was not out there. Now, Doug Peterson did say earlier today that he expected Trevor to do some individual stuff. But again, for the 25 minutes that our colleagues were allowed to view practice today, Trevor was not seen.
Yeah, and we can spin this now. It can be one of two things. That's by design, to let the media see anything. What if he did throw it and they looked and said, "Oh my God, the guy's got a broken arm"? Or this could be just simply, we told you he's going to work, only individual drills, and that's it. And we're not going to let you see anything. Let Carolina think right now. Let them whip out the tape and look at C.J. Beathard and spend half their time right now, evaluating what he could do with the football on Sunday as compared to Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to stick with 2 things here. Number one, I think Jacksonville wins this football game. I think they win by more than a possession, okay? I'm talking, I guess 7 points is a possession. I think they win by a touchdown or more. Number 2, until I hear of a setback, I think Trevor Lawrence is your quarterback.
Yeah, look, based on history, certainly you would believe that. Now, as Trevor mentioned yesterday, the shoulder is obviously different from the knee or the ankle when you're a quarterback, and it's your shoulder. Obviously, that's a problem. We'll see. But if he went from a DNP yesterday to limited today, the trajectory does look good. If Trevor cannot go for whatever reason, and it is C.J. Beathard, Rick, do you still believe Jacksonville would win by more than a possession?
They're a better team. A possession. Listen, I don't bet, so it wouldn't matter. By a possession, I would say no. I would say maybe a field goal, but that's fine. I mean, again, the way I am, if you are a bettor, I would never lay points. Why would you lay points? They're 2-5 at home. You don't lay points. This team doesn't respond at home. I mean, they had unbelievable opportunities Sunday night, Monday night, and they fell flat on their face. But I don't bet. I mean, a 1-point victory is good enough.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, I'm not asking Doug Peterson or anybody else down there. I'm asking Rick Ballou. If it's up to you and you think they can win with C.J. Beathard, would you give Trevor Lawrence 7 more days of rest and play Beathard to get Trevor as healthy as he can for Tennessee?
Well, that's a trick question. If you tell me they're going to win, sure. The guy's had 4 injuries. I mean, I'd have to be a knucklehead.
But if you believe Beathard can beat them.
I'm convinced that if Trevor can play, he does play.
I agree with that.
And say what you want about him. I got some buddies of mine texting me with different thoughts on this, that he's not a tough guy, because tough guys kind of taking your stance on this. I'm not putting words in your mouth, but okay, he's a tough guy. He's playing, but they haven't won. They've lost 4 straight. So I understand that side of the argument. And I think until we hear something that goes the other way, I do think that he is going to be the starting quarterback coming up on Sunday. All right, when we do return, let's put our final thoughts on this one. Yeah, someone just put in Buffalo at 2009. Buffalo's freaking scary, okay? Including Kansas City. Can you think of a worse place to go right now to play a playoff game? You remember how much of an enormous break that was for Jacksonville to get Buffalo in London?
Yeah, it was a huge break. And keep in mind, if Buffalo beats New England and Miami loses, that's a division title game next week. The last time those teams played in Buffalo, like 2.5 months ago, didn't the Bills beat them by like 30? Just crushed Miami up there.
Have to look back on that. Final thoughts coming up on the other side.
The road to the postseason leads back to the bank.
We know we have what it takes. Our goals are still in front of us. Everything's still right there. We got to take control of it and go play the way that I know we're capable of playing. It's the coaches, players, we're all in this together. We got 2 games left. We'll see what we earn from there.
Next up, the Carolina Panthers.
You want to see a win.
Sunday at 1 on 1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
Randy Marion Cadillac is the new name in luxury in Jacksonville.
You can drive away today in luxury in a 2024 XT5.
And XT6s with 2.9% financing plus $2,000 in savings when you finance through Cadillac Financial.
And as a small business owner, you qualify for a 2023 tax deduction of up to 80% off the purchase price of a new 2023 Cadillac.
That's right. We've got the vehicles that qualify for this offer, and you can take advantage of this today.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville. Plus tax, take title, $899 admin fee, and resist all.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Now, the Florida State Seminole Report, brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team.
Florida State quarterback Tate Rodemaker will not play in the Orange Bowl, and Brock Glenn will start against Georgia on Saturday. Glenn also started the ACC championship game for FSU. Glenn has completed 10 of 25 passes for 90 yards this season for the Noles. 247 Sports as well as The Athletic have reported that Rodemaker intends to enter the transfer portal. I'm RJ Saunders with your Ag Pro Seminole Report.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
At Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services, we're here to help with a lot. Not just septic tank pump outs and installations, we also offer sewer and drain cleaning, water heater repairs, lift station services, septic system inspections, backflow services, sump pump replacements, and more. We're your professional plumber who can do it all. So for any of the above, just call the Duck.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
This is former NFL quarterback David Garrard. If your knees have taken a beating and you're finally ready to do something about it, then let Southeast Orthopedic take a look. Come on, do your knees a favor.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic orthopedic specialists.
Mia O'Brien.
Don't I know you from somewhere?
On XL Primetime from noon to 3, on Helmets and Heels Tuesday nights.
I swear to you, I know her.
And you can follow me on the 1010XL video and social media channels.
I would know her voice anywhere.
All Things Mia is driven by Arlington Toyota.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
I-9 Sports. Kids all over the First Coast can enjoy growing up on a field or in a gym. Right now, winter and spring registration is open, so make sure you find out what I-9 Sports offers in your area. Duval, Clay, and St. John's. I9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
Were you forced into a nosebleed mortgage rate in this past year? Loan Pronto is here to rescue you. Hey, it's Prosser. Listen, if your mortgage rate is over 7, you're going to be in heaven with Loan Pronto's zero-cost refi. You can cut your house payment by hundreds of dollars and even do it with zero closing costs and no appraisal. Rates have plummeted to the lowest point in nearly 12 months, and it's time to say goodbye to that bad loan you got stuck with. Loan Pronto's got APRs with fixed rates in the 5s. So don't live with that record high a day longer. You can lock in a lower rate now with virtually no paperwork or cost involved. Call now and see how much lower you can get your house payment. Refi now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call for a free 30-second quote, 904-999-1508. At loanpronto.com, you can find out more. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
If your lawn is not as green as you'd like, it's time to go orange by calling Orange Environmental Services, Jacksonville's highest quality pest control for over 45 years. Frank Frangie here. I've trusted Orange Environmental to take care of our home's pest control needs for years. With the Orange Shield Protection Plan for your home or office, you can relax knowing Orange Environmental will handle pest control, termite control, and mosquito control. Orange Environmental has been giving Northeast Florida peace of mind from bug problems since 1972. Call them today at 272-3284.
Electricians, innovators, and tech enthusiasts, listen up. Miller Electric is shaping the future, and we want you to be a part of it. From healthcare and data centers, corporate offices, aviation, and industrial facilities, Miller Electric is powering the most exciting projects in Jacksonville and beyond. We offer not just a job, but a thrilling career with great pay and incredible benefits. Visit us at millercareers.com to apply. Miller Electric, where your skills meet our vision, and equal opportunity employer.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Coach Doug Peterson spoke to media today, said that Trevor Lawrence, who is battling a right shoulder sprain, will be limited in practice today. Cam Robinson has returned and is likely a go for this weekend. Coach Peterson shared some updates on other offensive line injuries.
Well, we know Walker and Ezra are both sore and beat up, banged up this time of year. Cam, it was great to get Cam out there. He brings a lot of energy and excitement out there and enthusiasm, and he did a nice job, and it appears that he's ready to go. So that was obviously a positive, and then the other 2 guys are, whatever happens, at least one of them, whether it's Walker or Ezra, gets a chance to kind of heal a little bit.
Visit Jaguars.com for more. I'm Taylor Dahl with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Jaguars update on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Over the saxophone, I believe, right? Gotta love it. Smoky Lounge and a sax. 3 fingers worth. Palomordu. We're winding down. We got 5 minutes remaining. Prime time next, but tomorrow, noon to 3. Already looking forward to that show. Got some big things planned on Friday. A getaway Friday.
Last show of 2023.
That's sad. Time's flying. Enjoy each and every day. All right, Fred Taylor among the 15 who are now finalists for the Football Hall of Fame. I've said all along, I thought Fred would get in next year. I hope he gets in this year. I thought he was a year away. I think Tom Coughlin and Fred, combined, out of the next 3 years, they're both going to get in. Jimmy Smith's got a chance to get in as well. I tell you what Jimmy Smith needs. He needs these other wide receivers to get in. Torrey Holt, Jaguar great. Andre Johnson, Reggie Wayne among the 15 that are on the list this year. It would be great for so many reasons to see one, if not two of those get in just for the Jimmy Smith reason.
I would love for Fred Taylor to get in this year. I don't believe it's going to happen, but the big news last night was getting into the room, right? Fred had been in the 25 list of the semifinalists, I believe, for 3 or 4 years, and he had always not made the cut to the final 15. You got to be among the final 15 to get into the room, as they call it, to be discussed by the voters.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have some Hall of Fame voters on Hacker After Dark, I believe, next week to talk about this a little bit. Now that Fred is in the room, keep in mind, it took Baselli a long time to get into the room.
It took forever. It was,
and then even after he got into the room, Rick, it took Baselli some years even in the room to get into Canton. That's how you go. You get in the room, and then ultimately you get into Canton more than likely. With Fred Taylor, there's just too much competition to me. Antonio Gates, I think, is a shoo-in. Right?
Antonio Gates gets in.
Peppers, Julius Peppers is probably a shoo-in.
It's either going to be Peppers, Freeney, or Jared Allen. They're going to put one defensive end in. I tend to agree with you. Julius Peppers should be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
One of those receivers is going to get in.
I would think so.
Where are you with Devin Hester?
To me, that's a novelty. That's a side item. He's a special teams guy. I think there are more credible Hall of Famers than Devin Hester. There was a big push for him a year ago, and he did not get in. So I think it's a real good chance he could get in. I think Patrick Willis has a real good chance of getting in as well. Two things that I think hurt Fred. He scored 33 touchdowns in his first 3 years, and then it kind of went away a little bit. He was injured, but he ended up with 70. He was on pace to go way north of 100, and it fizzled out a little bit. When MJD came in, he started scoring a lot of touchdowns. The other thing that I think hurt Fred a little bit is, even though it was on the downside of his career, he was in New England for 2 seasons and didn't win a Super Bowl. That franchise won 6 Super Bowls, and they were always in the AFC Championship game. I think the Super Bowl matters. I really do for the Hall of Fame. It didn't for Baselli, but I think if you could have said, with all of his achievements, he won a Super Bowl in New England, that might have been the difference so far of him getting over the hump.
Well, and my thing with Fred Taylor, too, is I'm not going to be upset or distraught if he doesn't get in this year, because, again, I think that was such a big deal last night, making it into the finals room, and that is so great that he's finally in that room and going to get discussed. I would have to go back and look at the statistics. I'm sure there's somewhere you can find this. I'm not sure how many guys get into the finalist room and then ultimately don't ever get back into the finalist room. I think once you're a finalist, you're pretty much a finalist until you get in to Canton. At least that was the way it was with Tony Baselli. One final thought on Fred Taylor. The 16 guys that have more rushing yardage than him, 14 of them are in the Hall of Fame. The only 2 guys that aren't are not eligible yet, Adrian Peterson and Frank Gore. Both of those guys will get in. But if you put Fred Taylor in, then Steven Jackson's going to be screaming.
Mm-hmm.
Then Corey Dillon's got an argument.
Tiki Barber
and Warwick Dunn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, if you put Fred in, who is deserving.
Fred was better than them all. Corey Dillon was really good now.
Was Fred better than Steven Jackson?
I think he was.
Steven Jackson's a darn good player.
A very good football player. And arguably a Hall of Famer. I just think Fred was better.
That's the question. Is Steven Jackson a Hall of Famer? He's got 200 less rushing yards than Fred Taylor. And he's got more total yardage.
I think you can make a real good case for Steven Jackson. I don't think anyone should be penalized. I don't think any of these wide receivers should be penalized. You got wide receivers with more than 10,000 receiving yards. Hines Ward, Torrey Holt, Andre Johnson, Anquan Bolden, Reggie Wayne. They all should go in. That's my opinion on this. I don't care if we've gone from 14 games to 16 games, 16 games to 17 games. I don't care if rushing numbers are down and receiving numbers are up. You can't blame a player, just like you can't in baseball when you're hitting 50 home runs, you're hitting more than 400, 500 home runs if you're clean. If you didn't take steroids, I don't think you can penalize a player for being part of a game that changed.
I agree with that. I also agree that Fred Taylor being the only running back will probably help him this time around.
There's no doubt. You want to get in before Gore and Peterson. No doubt about that.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Keeping 1010XL rolling with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
All right, O'Brien, you bring this cold weather with you? What's going on?
Well, I know I brought a cold with me, but I'm slowly getting over it, so we're in the
breathe
clear.
On me. I want to call in sick tomorrow.
Here's the problem, is that I land in Philadelphia last Friday night, right?
Oh, they're so friendly there, yeah.
Oh, truly. I got a story for after the show for that. And
you can come on with me at night. We air it all.
Yeah.
Beginning at 6.
Absolutely. And I say to my parents, I'm like, oh, my brother and sister must be, they're back in their hometown. They must be out. And my mom's like, no, they both actually have a cold. They're both sitting on the couch watching Christmas movies. And they were both better by Sunday. So it's a quick, 2-day cold sort of thing. But all weekend, I'm just banging my chest and I'm like, you get your tonsils removed, you don't get sick. Haven't been sick since I got my tonsils removed. And then I woke up Christmas morning and I was like, okay, that's interesting. So, but hey, we're on the up and up, and hopefully the Jags are too.
Special day for you and I. Here we are live from Fenway. It's BC SMU, and coming up in 20 minutes.
The Pinstripe Bowl, which I was honored to cover back in 2017.
At the Bronx.
Between
Yankee Stadium.
Between Boston College, who we are watching right now, and, of course, the Iowa Hawkeyes, back when Adazio was the head coach at Boston College.
How is Leon Searcy going to stay focused when you have Rutgers Miami while he's on the air?
That's
I'm going to listen to the show just for that reason.
Exactly what I said to Taylor Dahl as I left my office. I said, I think this show is going to be legendary, if for nothing else. We come on the air at 2. The Canes and Rutgers come on at 2:15.
Now, tonight starts a big 4-day period for you and I. Mm-hmm. The cutthroat, the blood, the sweat, the tears, everything that has gone on in the 1010XL Fantasy Football League has come down to this. It's O'Brien, it's Hacker, it's for the 1010XL Championship. I think O'Brien, are you the favorite? I think you are the favorite.
No, I think you were, Hack, but I'll double check it right now. I haven't won a fantasy championship since 2013, so maybe it's an every 10 years thing.
Now, I'll tell you this. I started 2-6, Rick. I've won 8 in a row. Captain Mo is on my side.
You had like Amari Cooper last week. You put up 7,000 yards.
And I had him on my bench, and I still beat Denmark. I got to figure out if I'm playing Amari Cooper tonight. But Mia, best of luck. It's either you or I that are going to hoist the 1010XL Fantasy Football Trophy.
Yes, a little concerned about the health of Jordan Addison, Chris Olave. We'll see what happens on that front. But, hey, I'm riding the hot hand in Josh Allen right now. We'll see if Dak can bounce back for you because, I mean, thankfully for them, because at first when I saw the schedule for this weekend, right, and I saw Cowboys, Lions standalone, I went, oh, no. Is that the Monday night game? Because you guys have seen the numbers, right?
Yeah.
We're now 8 straight weeks in which the underdog has won on Monday Night Football. It's a new record for Monday Night Football. Yeah. Thankfully, it's a Saturday, and thankfully, Coach Campbell will be there.
And it almost feels like, as well, it doesn't matter how much time's left in the clock. Whoever gets the ball last is going to win.
Yeah.
With a field goal. Have a fun show today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Coming up right now, that's me and company.
Hey, real quick as we wrap up on the text line. I don't know. I didn't bring up Florida the entire show, right? The 505 wants to get this little jab at me. Hey, Hacker wins Florida's bowl game.
Oh,
what
my
is
God.
That
Who is that?
about?
50-40. 50-40. Here's my cell. Call. Let's go drinking. I'm off. It's 2 o'clock. I got nothing to do. You let that bother you.
A little bit.
You let that upset you.
It's an unnecessary shot.
I love you, 50-40. I love all you out there as well. I don't check the text line. How do you get a hold of Hacker?
At Ryan Green, 1010XL on Twitter.
You can get me on Twitter as well. That's Ballou 1010XL. For RJ Saunders and Hacker, I'm Rick Ballou. Tomorrow we're on noon to 3, our final show before the new year. Have a great Thursday.